place is so quiet now. Can you imagine it once held families and friendships built over half a century? In 2016, all of its residents, mostly elderly, were relocated. In Singapore, as public housing estates age, they're slated for redevelopment and residents are moved to brand new flats nearby. This modern estate, located just a few streets away, is where the former Dakota Crescent residents now live. It should have felt like a fresh start, but to many of the elderlies in their 60s, 70s and 80s, the move actually disrupted what they've come to know, especially the social networks they come to depend on. So we recently spent some time with the residents to find out just how their lives have changed 3 years on.
这个打不大的，我以为住新的屋一定很美的，这边我很不高兴啊，好像有一个压力这样，好像那个鸟窝这样。
You know lah, so many people, so many types they got it. Too small lah, sometimes tell they are too small, so new house very good, very clean. Wow, happy.
So we're asking the questions, what can be done better when moving elderly communities in the name of urban renewal? And what makes a house a home?
You see the place very nice, huh? Because not so crowded, nearly 7 story, you know. All the pigeons will be upstairs working. See lah, they makan, you see, they're waiting. But you all like family all here lah. Anything they will come and ask you. Very nice place, no?
我姓余，名叫秀英，今年81岁了。
在达古达住多久
？32年了咯。
我的名字叫阿香，今年75岁。
你住达古达住了多久？
好像有18年还是19年这样的。全部邻居都很好的，有照顾来照顾去啦，有煮东西就给我们吃这样的。
My name is James. Fun. Over there is space. They're very good and windy, breezy. You know, behind the courtyard, you know, you can plant your plants.
我们住2楼啊，要浇水都很容易。要跟水莲，他很关心我，当我是他的奶奶一样宽爱。我过年看到我一个人，他就叫我过去吃饭，不是好像奶奶一样宽待咯。
You know, during the rainy season, you got frogs in your bathroom. Some centipede also. Cockroaches.
Down there got rat, everything sleep together with me. That's why I feel scared. You know, the big rat down there very dangerous. They sleep together. Oh, then you don't know, you tell your cat, rat lah.
If you understand the geography of this area, Dakota Crescent was located just one street away. The hawker center, then the wet market, the supermarket. Basically, everything that you need was just one street away from Dakota Crescent.
The whole Dakota Crescent was rental flats. Majority of them are elderly. The elderly moved in there and then they were much younger. Families were built there, their children grow up. These elderly, majority of them are staying alone. Everybody knows each other. It's easy for them to turn to each other.
Dakota 是好像一家人这样，大日子啊，哇，阿良那边有 party 啦，什么什么啊，哇，很好，像一家人这样。
阿良也是很好的，带你们出去走啊，去吃这样哦。
我们有生病哦，他带到我们去医院的嘞。
Some of them will just leave their case with him. When they receive letters from government agencies that they don't understand, they'll contact Roger and says, look, can you help explain to me what is it about?
I'm Roger from Tongling Community Services. Over 12 years in Block 10 Dakota Crescent. That's where we have our Care and Friends Center. We have exercise, games, activity, bingos. So the elderly easily can just come down to the center for a cup of tea, coffee, watch TV, use the massage chairs. So it was like a kampung area, to us.
When were you in informed about relocation?
I was informed through the resident. No? When the resident received the letter about the relocation,
他给我们信放在那个地下，因为我做工没有在家嘛，我都不认识字的，中英文我都不会。
most letters are in English, but even if it's another language, they also have difficulty reading because their age group is that age, pioneer generation age, so they do not know how to read. Yeah.
Of course, there are residents they could not contact because they are out at work or not available. And for those groups, they do feel that something is amiss. I don't know what's happening and I didn't have that contact point for this matter. It's really a lesson for HDB as well.
有住信物也是很好咯，不过不懂大是小啊，好啊是不好，远啊是近，心里很挣扎这样的。
Okay. My house before.
How long you stay here?
About 20 years like that. This is my good neighbor lah. Every morning we sit together.
The flats were very old, a lot of spoiling. The lifts are not working. They are so old that we can't find replacement lifts.
You can imagine that if a wheelchair-bound elderly reach the first floor and cannot go home, or worse, they are stuck inside there.
You know where is 133? Here is the one. No, already nobody stay here. All removed already. The government tell to move, all move one shot. Together we go. Go like family together go. Today me, tomorrow you.
After accepting the reality of it, then will be the moving law. The big picture is like how to move all these elderly over to there, the physical movement, the packing and unpacking.
The residents wanting to move everything over, but the bed that they had for 30 years may not be able to fit into the space. But these are their memories, these are their whole life.
Imagine the elderly now who is 80 years old, you ask them to pack all these type of things, it's very, very difficult. They group me into the committee, then we have a bigger force to help them and more structured.
So we started off getting surveys done first. We have volunteers take care of the shift, conducting dialogues with agencies, especially HDB.
Many people generously step forward. So they gave up 5,000, 10,000 and says, look, use this money to pay for the residents and buy for them the needs that they wanted.
阿良，他讲个有火气哈，帮你搬进。他的床哈，他也是他送的新的，擦汤匙也是他送的，这个凳子也是他送的咯，这个。
We had the shifting company, they came in to sponsor the shift.
起初搬来很辛苦啊，这边又静静哦，晚上又没有人啊，暗暗这样，晚上都不敢走出去啊。
I go until 18. Wow, this one very dangerous, man. Jatuh habis, die.
Some of the residents, even though it was not a large number of them, had difficulty adapting to high-rise, dense environment that is Cassia Crescent. You have to imagine it was 15 low-rise flats in Dakota Crescent with a lot of spaces in between. compressed into one block in Cassia Crescent that is 18 floors tall.
So I saw this old lady who was just standing outside the lift. She has never taken the lift before. She has been living in her ground floor unit for 30 years. So when she went in the lift, she felt giddy. We arranged for another volunteer to be with her throughout, coming over to see the flat. That was important, to hold their hand, for them to know that there's someone around.
你每天坐在这边哦，然后做什么？
没有想东西怎么弄？
在做什么？没有看电视。
我不会调整啊，等下他播到啊跑去我就不会调了。我脚好的时候我没有就做这个东西的时候，基本上做到天亮才回来啊。这晚上你拍可以啊。这空调都也要使用了。
所以你在那个巴萨是不是有很多朋友？
哎，这就是叫小龙咯，他叫惯了了。我跟我的朋友一个人起一个名字啊，他起小雨，我起小龙了呀。那我的朋友没有来这边了。我在这边就住3年多了，一直在这边了。巴萨没有去了，没有人带我去，我就不会去了。
Some of the seniors have stopped going to the wet market, to the hawker centre regularly. For most of us, even though Cassia Crescent is just a 10 minutes walk from amenities along Old Airport Road, some of them might require 15 minutes or even 30 minutes to be able to complete that walk.
那个要买什么？
释放的有释放的。
The residents who had mobility difficulties were concerned about 4 risks involved in making that journey.
I conducted a survey about 500 elderlies from the 32 HDB blocks in our community. We actually measured the physical distance between the residential blocks and the community resources. We actually found that the distance between the blocks and community resources such as coffee shop and the senior activity centers are highly associated with their physical, mental health and community participation. Suppose you are living over here, you come down to this coffee shop, then you get to know other people. However, even though you live in the same HDB community, if your block is kind of far, even like saying 300 meters. For elderly people, it's really hard to walk about 300 meters. So that physical isolation also going to come to result into the social isolation. Social isolation, loneliness, increase the risk of the many physical and mental conditions, including hypertension, heart diseases, diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety, cognitive declines, and even death. So in social epidemiology, we're saying these words, loneliness kills people. Agree, right?
Oh, 你来呀？他很随便啦，什么都可以啦，什么都可以啊，给他们照顾的。不过现在没有了咯。
We were actually hoping that we would go with our elderly there and then continue serving them. But unfortunately, we were not given that choice, even though we request for it.
In the course of the relocation, there was of course also a senior activity centre at the new housing estate, but because it was a new site, it was subject to a new kind of contracting process. What this process was blind to was the fact that the previous provider had a lot of advantages, including their ties with the local residents, their knowledge of individual residents' needs that no new service provider would have.
We do have elderly 6 or 7 like that who, when they're in my own Dakota area, we actually prepare medication for them. We have elderly that they are not comfortable with agency provided food. They want their food to be purchased from the hawker center. These are the needs that are very specific. It's more of a personal kind of attention. When they shift over, then that is the gap.
At that point of time, I thought it would be ideal for Tongling to continue running the SAC. But unfortunately, there are certain KPIs imposed on the SAC. I was given to understand that Tongling was not able to commit to meeting those KPIs. The question then is, what do we do from there?
Hello, Uncle, Auntie, 开了罐了。
My name is Nicholas, Center Manager since 2017. At the time when I'm told that I'm coming to this center, the elderly has already moved to this block. We do have elderlies coming in to say, where were you for the past 2 months? All right, why wouldn't you all be around to assist us when we move in?
I'm Jing Zhou, and I'm the co-founder and head of Cassia Resettlement team. I was part of this project to document the relocation. I spoke to residents to understand how they were doing after the relocation. Some of the residents that we have met, these basic needs were unmet due to some transitional issues and challenges that happened as part of the relocation, like food or going for important medical appointments. When this happened for one resident, we wondered how it was like for other residents. That was how CRT continued to grow and evolve along the way.
Hello， 有没有人在？
At that time, there's resistance. When we try to do door-to-door, they do not want to open the doors to unknown person.
Familiarity of faces, especially old people, we don't want a lot of changes. It takes time to adjust to changes, and I think most people won't want to change unless they have to change.
很多人的，明明很美确的。
对哦，就是啦，不可以留长头发。
Slowly, we built either at a coffee shop, void deck, a lift lobby,
Help them go to NTUC to buy some groceries because now the NTUC is further away from where they used to be.
built the relationship with them. Now we are almost like a family.
旧的哦，14号大牌过一个马路就到巴萨，会走的了10分钟就到，哦，很慢吗？现在要20分钟，慢慢走了，走到巴萨，看到椅子就休息。
Our residents have taught us a lot along the way. We have seen how strong and resilient they are.
Sometimes they were too small, sometimes they are too small, so new house very good, very clean. Wow, I happy. For me, I happy.
It's clean, much clean. It's very compact. When I go to the toilet, it's very near. Not like the old one, it's different. You know, and then it's not level. Here is designed for wheelchair.
没有房没有厅的，这个屋子不好，每次太阳照进来啊。
很窄，又好像我很不高兴了，直到现在我弄 happy， 晒衣服也不适合，又没有厨房，好像怪怪这样。
It's important to make a distinction between relocation and resettlement, right? Resettlement is also about helping residents who have moved thrive in the new community that they have moved or relocated to.
要喊大大声啊！
We have quite a number of wheelchair residents here. At least it's an avenue out. It's a few hours.
People generally do not like change in environment.
哇，發了啦，發了！哇，我看你贏你就話得個你騎了走路啊，嚇！
But if you pour enough resources to help mitigate the circumstances, it will go a long way towards buffering the frustration that they will face.
There was actually no group, no organization that looks particularly at public housing relocation and think about how we can support communities in the process.
Taking communities apart and then rebuilding them is a huge blind spot.
The key word is working together. The handing over party and the taking over party, the collaboration can be closer.
We're a fast aging society. At the same time, our public housing system is aging. I expect to continue to see relocation in the years to come.
Dakota Crescent is not the only community that would be affected by relocation.